Good day, folks. The Butch Man here, the most generic, most averagely talented personality on YouTube. I'm proving this every week. Weekly. Twice a weekly. 3 times a weekly sometimes. 4 times a weekly. I am proving this. Today, people, I have to dive into something that I have a major problem with. No one's going to lose any sleep. That being said, I have a problem with the storyline of Rocky, one of my favorite movies of all time. Favorite series O movies of all time. One of my favorites, gotta be. Everybody knows it. I got it memorized. However, there are a lot of holes that have never been explained. Okay, I have even some notes here. So, let's start out with Rocky as a professional fighter. He's got 20 losses by the time Apollo Creed finds him. 20 losses amongst a bunch of, who knows who in the boxing world. He's 31 years old at this time also of the fight. Actually, earlier in the fight, in the movie, he says to Paulie, "Hey, I'm 30 myself." So he's 30, 31 by the time the fight comes around. This is a guy that's got 20 losses before he fights Apollo. Okay, he fights Apollo, he loses a split decision, as we know, which they don't really harp on. There's 21 losses. Most heavyweights don't lose 20 fights in their careers, the good ones, the heavyweight champions that we'll get into. Most guys don't lose their first or maybe second bout until they've even gotten the title. They get the title, they're undefeated usually, or maybe have one loss. Yeah, they're protected a little bit, which we're going to get to also. Rocky 2. Okay. Now, Rocky 2, it says he could go blind, the doctor says. Remember on the operating table, the nose isn't a concern, it's my eye that concerns me. The eye. He hits trash cans, he can't see, he gives Paulie the car. "Hey, Paulie, I can't see out of my left eye. I keep hitting trash cans when I make left turns." Something like that. So, that's what, that becomes the main premise of him not fighting in Rocky 2, and then just gets washed away. So let's say he's 32. I think they say it's a year later, technically. He's 32 now. He fights Apollo. Okay, no issue there. But Rocky goes to talk to Mickey about training him, and Mickey gives him a smack, and Rocky didn't see it coming. Couldn't see it. And Mickey said, "And that was from an old pug like me. What do you think the champ is going to do?" "It hurt me real bad." "He'll hurt you permanently." Permanently. Right? So, now all of a sudden, Apollo does these dirty tactics, and then Mickey wants to train him? What? What? What happened with the eye? Adrian still thinks his eye is bad and he shouldn't fight. So, now, let's get to the fight. We're going to jump all over here. So let's get to the fight now. The second fight, that Rocky trains wicked hard. Apollo also trains hard, doesn't take him lightly this time. So, if you remember in the fight, Apollo was up like freaking 9 rounds to 4. Or maybe 10 rounds to 3. Or 10 rounds to 4 even. Rocky had only won 3 or 4 rounds during this fight. During this whole fight montage, right? And Apollo's trainer is saying, "You got to fight one, don't go for the knockout." But Apollo wants to knock him out. "Are you going down?" Rocky says, "No, no way, no way." Anyway, Rocky knocks Apollo out. Luckily, because if that fight goes a distance, Apollo wins easy and gets his title back, and then there's nothing else. So Rocky gets a lucky knockout, almost knocks himself out, if you remember. Gets up. It was the 15th round, mind you. Why isn't Apollo ever given a rematch? Okay, Apollo beats him once by split decision, which gives Rocky his 21st loss. Apollo hadn't lost once. That's Apollo's, first loss, basically. So, why doesn't Rocky give Apollo it's a money fight. And don't give me that BS at the end of Rocky 3 when they fought with no newspapers, no cameras, empty gym. That's nonsense. Come on with that nonsense. So, now, is Rocky a dick because he doesn't give Apollo the money fight? I mean, and why would they fight for free in a gym with nobody there? I mean, that doesn't make any sense either. You could make millions and millions of freaking dollars on this one. You're 1-1. You got to have a rubber match. And in reality, Apollo should still be the favorite in a fight, in a third fight, because he beat him the first time. Second time was up on him by freaking so many scorecards, up by a ton. Would have never lost that fight if he just stayed away. Yeah, I know it's a movie. Bear with me here, people. Also, now before the fight with Apollo in Rocky 2, Rocky's trying to do these commercials, and he's reading these cue cards, and he's like, in the morning, I splash it on, and it makes me smell mainly. And yeah, and this makes you like a jungle cat. I just can't read it. So he goes and reads a book when Adrian is in a coma. And in Rocky 3, the dude is doing American Express card commercials. He's on the Muppet Show. He's so sophisticated. He's doing DeLorean and Harley Davidson advertisements. Now, because he read a book to Adrian in a coma, he's this sophisticated, domesticated fella who can read and read dummy cards and cue cards and no problem, and he's an actor now. What gives, man? Okay, so now it's Rocky 3. He's the champ. Still no mention of the 21 or 22 losses that he's had. You know, it's debatable about how many losses. 21, 22. He lost to Apollo, so that's another one. So he's the champ. He has 10 title defenses over the next however, long. I mean, let's say, now these are handpicked. Mickey had to protect him. He's the champ now. All of a sudden, nobody's shocked that Rocky is the champ. He got the shot of a lifetime, had 20 losses, 21 losses maybe. Apollo has only one loss and doesn't get a freaking rematch. Ain't that something? And Apollo gave Rocky the rematch to begin with. So, yeah, all right, I'm enough about that. So, let's say Rocky fights, he said, and at one point he goes, oh, come on, Mick, I had 10 title defenses. Now he can talk normal. I guess getting hit in the face is what makes the brain normal. And getting hit in the face must make your eye heal. Because, handpicked or not, these guys are still punching you in the face. What happened to him going blind? Where's that potential? What happened to his propensity that he could go blind at any given moment? The doctor said it's the eye that concerns me. Getting punched in the face now heals that? He says he has 10 title defenses. Let's say he has 2 or 3 a year. Fighters, again, this is in the 80s. They were a little more active. So you probably think maybe 2 or 3 fights a year. So 10 title defenses. That's 3.5 to 5 years basically. So he's 32 or 33ish at Rocky 2. 3.5 to 5 years. Let's say 4.5 years. Okay. So 33, 34, 35, 36, 37 and a half-ish. 37 and a half-ish. Okay. Now he wants to fight Mr. T, Clubber Lang. Clubber Lang's a killer. He's a wrecking machine, Rock. Mickey tells him they were handpicked. Okay, still no mention of the eye. What happened to him going blind? He'll knock you in tomorrow, Rock. That was the Clubber Lang bit from Mickey. So Rocky's now 37-ish. Pretty old for a heavyweight champ. I mean, yeah, he was shredded. Still pretty damn old for a heavyweight champ. Especially after you still have 22 losses, man. I don't know anybody that, hey, welcome to champ. And now they make him the greatest of all time? They put up a statue because he's the greatest? He's the heavyweight champ for a few years, but now he's the greatest? I don't understand that. He has 50-something wins, 20-something losses. Rocky Marciano went 49-0. Dude, where's his statue? Why is there nobody shocked that a boxer in their late 30s goes on a crazy tear? A boxer with 20-something losses goes on a tear, wins the heavyweight title, goes on 10 title defenses. Nobody bats an eye? Nobody thinks anything? Nobody speculates anything? And that's why Clubber Lang is like, this guy's fighting bums. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to beat him up. I pity the fool. I'll say it again. Most heavyweight champions they got their first loss after they already won the title. Most of them. You can't say all of them, but most of them did. So now we got Rocky with 20-something losses. Rocky gets knocked out by Clubber Lang because he's all friggin' hot dogging it. Okay, KO in the second round. That's 23 losses now. 23 losses he has. Nobody's shocked. Or actually everybody's shocked that Rocky lost. But yet you shouldn't be because he's got 22 of them already before this. Apollo comes in, never getting his rematch, wants to train Rocky. Now, this is also where I guess it kind of makes sense because Apollo trains Rocky, teaches him all these things that Rocky never knew. It makes sense because Apollo was a 10 times better fighter than Rocky. Apollo beat him up one time but lost via lucky knockout. Then he won via split decision. So Apollo really should be 2-0 against him. So I woulda, coulda, shoulda. If my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. I get it. And it's a movie. I get that too. But again, they don't really address that. Now, again, Apollo says, when you beat me by 1 second. 1 second, that's very hard for a man of my intelligence to handle. And they're joking around about it. Ha, 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 ha. Now, that shouldn't be a joke, man. Now, Apollo, again, has one loss to Rocky. And that's it. And he retires. Now, keep in mind, this is a $1 million fight. $1 million. They could make millions if Rocky and Apollo fought again. But instead, they sparred in a gym. Yeah, because that happens. Freaking idiots. Damn it! I could have made this movie so much better. Now for some full-on nonsense as we get to Rocky 4. Okay, so, still no mention that Rocky can go blind. He beat Clubber Lang. Adrian ain't bitching at him anymore about going blind or anything like that. He's got 23 losses. In Rocky 4, at one point, Rocky says, can you believe after 9 years it all still seems kind of new? Okay, 9 years. Keyword. He was 30, 31 when he fought. 9 years. Okay, so he's 39 and he's the heavyweight champ of the world still? 39? Really? Here comes this big freaking giant Russian. So Apollo just fought Rocky in an empty gym, so he's in pretty good shape. Apollo wants to fight this giant Russian to teach him a lesson about America being the better athletes, this and that. Apollo, again, is a much better fighter than Rocky, as we determined. I think he's a little bit older, not much, not sure. So, Apollo fights this Russian. Now remember, this Russian is geared up. He's on the juice. He's on everything. He's got the highest technological advances in sports medicine and training. The Kremlin, he wasn't the Kremlin, whatever. So he says, a normal heavyweight averages 700 pounds of pressure per square inch. Drago hits the thing, 1850. So, as you can see, Drago averages 1,850 pounds. Whatever he hits, he destroys. So Apollo has fought the champ, beat the champ, taught the champ. The champ won't give him the money fight. So Apollo has to go fight this Russian guy. It's supposed to be an exhibition. The giant Russian guy hits Apollo so hard that he ragdolls him. I mean, hits him so hard, 1,850 pounds. Apollo's freaking body goes flying. He's all freaking getting beat to bejesus. Hits him so hard, he kills him. He kills Apollo. This guy hits that hard. Looked like Apollo got hit with a wrecking ball. Like, was just getting flown and flopped around and bam, bam. Wasn't that many punches. Boom! Just knocked the block off of him. So Rocky does the normal economical thing and fights the Russian for free. Could make millions. Fights him for free. On Christmas. So if he's 39, unless his birthday falls between December 25th and New Year's Day, then that means he's going to be 40 at this point anyway. He's got to be the end of the year. So, he's probably 40 at this point. Still the heavyweight champ at 40? And they're talking about Rocky's hard head and known punching power and this and that. And Drago still thinks it's an easy fight. All this nonsense. And no mention of Rocky going blind. Still, no mention of him going blind. You see? What happened to that? So here we are. A 40-year-old heavyweight champ with 23 losses on his record is supposed to take on this giant Russian athlete who just killed the guy who's a much better fighter, who trained him, who taught him, and beat him. And Rocky goes in there. Now here's the real problem. When Drago hits Apollo, Apollo goes flying. Apollo had maybe 20 pounds on Rocky. When Rocky gets hit, he walks right through it. Now, hard head or not, that doesn't change the physics of it. You're violating so many laws of physics. Force equals mass times acceleration, okay? Drago has hit even harder now because he trained more. Rocky weighs lighter, so his mass and his acceleration are the same, if not better, so Rocky should be getting thrown all over the place per the laws of physics, the laws of inertia. And they don't ever block any punches either. You ever notice that? No blocking. Here, I mean, okay, no, none of this. So, what we do know is Rocky beats the Russian. Rocky walks through all his punches, no matter how hard they were. The punches that killed a normal human being, he walked right through them, hard head and all, and he wins. And ends the Cold War. So we got that going for us. And that's the end of the absurdity for now. Lots of holes in the story. Feel free to comment. With that, this is your pal, the Butch Man, signing off. Like the video, leave a comment. Let's hear about your Rocky inconsistencies. However, still one of the best franchises ever, so don't you dare pick on it. That's my job. Okay, you can pick on it a little bit. Like the video, leave a comment. If you haven't figured it out by now, I got nothing better to do.